Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about moving from California to Tennessee because I feel like the majority of out-of-towners and out-of-staters that we get are from California. So today we're going to compare them all and we're going to talk about some things that you might not know. So stay tuned. Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back to my channel if you've been here before, and if you haven't, welcome. Here we will talk about everything there is to do as far as eating, sleeping, working, playing, and living in Nashville, Tennessee and the Middle Tennessee areas. So if that's something that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit subscribe and click that little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. We get people reaching out to us all the time and we love it, but you've got to reach out. So give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. However you want to get a hold of us is fine, because we've got your back when moving to the Nashville and Middle Tennessee areas. So today we are going to be talking about moving from California to Tennessee. I'd say that most of the out-of-state residents I get, the majority of them are from California, more so than any other state, and it seems to be a major trend. So we're going to talk a little bit about the cost of living and the weather and compare all of those things. So let's get started. First of all, we are going to talk about the cost of living. The cost of living in LA is actually 48% higher than in Nashville. Tennessee consistently ranks in the top 10 of the most affordable states. So already off the bat, Tennessee seems to be winning. California is definitely a little more pricey, especially in the home category. It was a big article in April that the median home price in California officially broke over $800,000 for a single family home. The median home price in Tennessee is closer to the $350,000 range for a single family home. We're not comparing condos and that kind of stuff, just the single families. And when it comes to rental properties, California is a lot more expensive as well. For the same kind of property in California as in Tennessee, you probably are going to pay double. So that just means that if for the same property in California, if you rent it here in Tennessee, if it's $2,400 in California, it's probably $1,200 to $1,500 here. So not only the housing market is cheaper here, but the rental market is a lot better as well. That being said, when it comes to property taxes, California is in the top 10 states for property taxes and Tennessee is in the bottom 10 states. Some research I was doing said that the property taxes in California are actually 3 times that of Tennessee. So you'll save on the house as well as the percentage that you pay in property taxes. Income taxes, California is the #1 state in the country for income taxes. So a lot of you may know Tennessee does not have a state income tax. So with California is at 13.3% and Tennessee is at 0. So again, another check mark, another win for Tennessee. Just another way that we can save you money when moving here. When it comes to sales tax and you look at local, state, and local sales tax, so your county taxes and all that kind of stuff, they're not really that much different. Middle Tennessee is averaging right around 9.25%, and California isn't really that far behind at just over 8.5%. So when you consider the savings when buying a home and paying your property taxes and that kind of stuff, a slight increase in sales tax isn't really that big of a deal. And gas prices, as of this video, California is $4.32 a gallon and Tennessee is $2.88 a gallon. So a huge difference there, $1.50. So well, driving here is a lot cheaper. Oh, we've got someone that wants to say hi. Say hello. Say hi. Just part of the perks. We brought the dogs over here to a friend's house to play in the water, and this is Gypsy, and she just doesn't want to leave me alone. So, again, gas prices, California, $4.32, Tennessee, $2.88. So a big difference there. As far as jobs, California ranks as the worst state to do business according to multiple sources, and Tennessee is continually ranked at the top of the list. Thousands of jobs have been relocated to Tennessee, especially to the Nashville area, even some in Knoxville and different places, but we're growing our tech scene here, so that's great, and people are figuring out they can do business cheaper here, and a lot of people have figured out that they can work remotely and all that kind of stuff. So people are fleeing California and bringing their businesses here to Nashville and Tennessee. Our governor even said it's because we're building such a good infrastructure for technology and we have a way of life here that people find attractive, and honestly, I don't disagree with them. I mean, look at this. This is here not far. I'm probably 30 minutes from downtown Nashville right now, at a friend's house on their 10 acres, just hanging out with the dogs. And yeah, we're not very far from town, and I love the way of life here. We'll talk a little more about that later. As far as the weather goes, today it is a hot, humid summer day. I'm sweating pretty bad, and I know that the heat in California is a lot drier. But from the people that I've talked to in California, they say it's really not a huge deal to move here. So you might have more humidity here and things like that, but in California they say it's still hot in the summer. The big difference is going to be that we have 4 seasons. In California doesn't really. We get a little bit of snow in the wintertime. You'll have a cold Christmas, so it makes it feel a little more like Christmas time. And yeah, it's just a lot of people I know want to come here to have the 4 seasons, because in California it doesn't change as much. The fall here is gorgeous. All the leaves turn color, and you get a crisp, cool breeze, and fall is by far my favorite season. You don't get to experience that in California like you do here. So as far as the outdoors goes here, California does have the beach and we do not. Just in case you weren't aware, Tennessee is a landlocked state, and we have people moving here all the time, and they're always so surprised at how far it takes us to get to the beach. Now, to me, I'm used to it, and it's not that far. To get to the closest beach here, you're probably 7-8 hours away. So, you know, the Florida Panhandle and Alabama and all that kind of stuff, that's pretty much the beaches that people here go to. So while we might not have the salt water that California does, we do have lots of lakes and rivers, and we take our dogs to the lake. We're really close to some here in Middle Tennessee, and we go to the lake and we go fishing and kayaking, and there's beaches on the lake so you can still lay out and get sun, and kind of acts the same way. You are just in not salt water. But we love it here. Tennessee has some of the most water out of all the states, so no matter where you move in Tennessee, you're probably going to be near a lake or a creek or a river or some kind of body of water. You'll see a pond behind me, across the yard from me. Oh yeah, trains. We have trains around here. But there's creeks and rivers and lakes and all that kind of stuff. So no beaches, but we do have water available to you. The location, obviously, this seems kind of given. California being all the way on the west side, you can't get to places as easily in the country. And Tennessee, you can. So we are centrally located, which is kind of why we're Music City, because people have figured out that you can be on tour and get to almost anywhere in the country in a day's drive. California, not so much. It takes a long time to fly from California to North Carolina or to Maine or anything like that. But here in Tennessee, we can get everywhere relatively quickly. It's just more centrally located, making it easier and faster if you want to travel, see friends, family, travel the country. Moving on to traffic, I personally feel like Nashville has terrible traffic, but I'm from a small town in North Carolina where we didn't have hardly any traffic. But everyone I talked to from California says that it's nothing compared to the traffic in the big cities of California, and you don't hear the honking here like you would in California. So in California, from what I understand, there's a lot of honking and people getting frustrated, and here we just kind of used to it. You sit in your traffic going to and from work and your commuter hours. We do have HOV lanes and stuff like that during commuter hours, but traffic here is bad, not as bad as California. And I will say we don't have any toll roads in Tennessee. In California it does, so that's something else to look forward to. You don't have to pay any tolls here. And finally, I think the biggest part of why people move from California to Tennessee is the people and the way of life. I mentioned it a little earlier, even our governor said something about it. Southern hospitality is a real thing, and we live and breathe by that down here. I'm not going to speak bad about California because everyone has their own opinions, and I have heard them kind of all over the board. People love California, or they hate California, or they're excited to get out of it, or they're excited to move to California. So I'm not going to talk bad about California. Just going to speak on Tennessee and the things that I know here. And it's just a very different vibe. For example, like the capital of California, which is Sacramento, for those of you who might not remember from school, has more than 6.5 times the number of people than the Tennessee capital, which is, surprise, Nashville. So that being said, like, that's just a lot of people. Nashville is our largest city, and Sacramento has 6.5 times the number of people. So that creates a very different way of life in general. California averages right around 250 people per square mile. Here in Tennessee, we average only about 150. So there's just less people overall, which equates to a different way of life. Now, don't get us wrong. We love our neighbors. We love extending Southern hospitality. We love helping people out. Now, there are exceptions to this rule, like there is, with everything. There's not just good people everywhere. But for the most part, everybody here in Tennessee is really nice. They want to help their neighbor. I know when we had a tornado early in 2020, I have never seen a community gather around each other as strongly as Nashville did, to restore the broken buildings and just to help each other out. And it's a way of life here. We have very different cultures, so it is a little more diverse than most people think, and people here are fine with that. The biggest thing you will hear about locals, the people that were born and raised here, they get a little frustrated when people move from other states and bring their quote-unquote politics with them. So they get mad and say, we have a certain way of life here. If you want to come here, embrace our way of life. Don't bring your own. Stay where you're going to stay if that's what you want to do. And, I get it. Tennessee has fought hard over the years to remain with true, strong Southern values. And they don't care if you disagree with them, per se. It's just respect the values and the way of life here in Tennessee. That's the biggest feedback I get from locals, and even people who get frustrated with me for posting these videos and encouraging people to move here. I get feedback all the time, and it's like, tell them to stay there, don't Californiaize our Tennessee, and yada yada. But for the most part, people are very, very understanding. It's just, there's a certain way of life here. If you move here, just expect to jump right into that and embrace it. It is a slower way of life, and we do have cities like Nashville that is a little faster paced, and it's perfect for those that want to stay in a fast paced environment. But for the most part, it's just a little slower here. And I will say one of the big differences is California has tons and tons of wineries, and we've got a couple, but for the most part, the South really shows here in our distilleries for moonshine and whiskey and all the things. So that's another big difference between here and California. You guys have wine country, and we have Jack Daniels and moonshine. So anyway, that's my big take on moving from California to Tennessee, what the big differences are. If you have any questions about it, please feel free to reach out. Let me know. Comment below. Give me a call. Shoot me a text. For example, this is the kind of place you can find in Tennessee, with a barn and a pond and lots of land. Or, if you want to stick to the lifestyle you have in California as far as the city life, that's fine. We've got that here for you too. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. Like I said, I get people moving here all the time, reaching out, asking questions, and I am here to help. So give me a call, shoot me a text, an email, however you want to get a hold of me. I've got your back when moving to Tennessee. So until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.